Welcome back to Central Valley Today. It's February 24th, which means it's Buddy Check Day. So it's time to text, call, email, DM, send a smoke signal. However you contact your buddy, it's time to remind them to do their monthly self-breast exam. Early detection saves lives. So here with me now from the center that treats all kinds of cancers, Dr. Ravi Rao, a medical oncologist with cCARE. So I mentioned breast care only because it's February 24th. It's Buddy Check Day, but you guys treat all kinds of cancers at cCARE, right?
That's right, yes.
And we say that you provide comprehensive care. So what does that mean?
Well, what it means is that under one roof, in one building, we can take care of almost every cancer there is, and with almost all modalities there are. We have one building which is rather big and has medical oncology, breast surgery, radiation oncology. We have scanners, PET scans, CT scans. We have radiation machines, and we also have a huge infusion center. So once a patient comes in the door, for most of their care, they do not have to leave the building.
And how do you think that helps with a patient's treatment?
Well, it is extremely beneficial because convenience makes people be more compliant. So once you check in at our front desk, you do not have to check in to see the next doctor. You're in the same building. Once you give us your contact information, your pharmacy information, your insurance information, you do not have to go back to every other desk and give the same thing again and again and again. And since medical care can sometimes be fractured.
Yes.
People sometimes have to go to 3 different offices,
Yes.
sit in 3 different waiting rooms. That becomes an impediment because you get tired. And the other issue is people have trouble with transportation. So if you have to go to 3 different places and check in 3 different times, you need someone to drive you, and that becomes a problem. So by keeping it simple, we make it easy.
I think that term is a very specific and precise and very accurate way to describe medical care today, is that it is fractured and it can be very overwhelming to try and tackle something like cancer by yourself, and you are then in charge of taking care of all of your medical needs. And we have learned that if you are not very proactive, it can be hard to get the right type of treatment. You mentioned insurance. So I would imagine that if you get a diagnosis like cancer that requires so many specialists and so many prescriptions and so many tests, that it could be very difficult when you factor insurance into all of these different specialists. But how might it work at a place like cCARE?
Well, we take almost every insurance that people in Fresno can have. So it makes it easy because if you have a patient who has cancer and they need to be seen, it's highly, highly likely that if you call us, we'll see you.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier because we have relationships with almost all insurance companies. So if there's some unusual feature, we can figure it out and we can see the patient.
And I would think that it might be easier on the billing side because everything is coming from one spot. It's not coming from, a specialist over here and a specialist at this office. It's all coming from, one umbrella building.
That's right.
You mentioned here that the right to choose your care is a very important thing when you're a patient. What does that mean?
Well, if you have a diagnosis, you can go to multiple different places. And in some situations with certain insurances, you are forced to just see one provider and no one else. And that sometimes may not work out because either it's not convenient or maybe that particular provider doesn't have the expertise that you have, that you need. And that becomes an issue with, with many insurances. We are seeing that every now and then where someone comes in and they had been in the previous insurance linked only with one provider and they were not satisfied.
Yeah. That goes back to being proactive about your health and wanting to find the appropriate doctor for you and wanting to find the right approach. I always know that I like places who are much more willing to, go down a new path of medicine, and they don't have a way that they practice medicine that has been that way forever. And so I always think that cCARE is doing, you guys are doing great things over there and always advancing medicine and making sure that you look at the entirety of the patient. So if there are people out there who they need care for cancer, how do they get in touch? What's that process like?
Well, the easiest thing to do is to call the number on our website. And we have a system by which if you call the number, you get a person who can take your information, figure out what you need, and get you in to be seen. On our website, there is also a way of sending a message which then comes to us as an email, and we can do the same thing.
Okay.
Either ways are the best thing to do.
They will take care of you. The number will be on our website as well. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
And
Thank you.
we'll be right back with more Central Valley Today after this.
Hi, everyone, and welcome.